Okay. Congressman Bob Inglis, former Congressman Bob Inglis. You're a Republican congressman.
Yeah.
Are you a true Republican, or are you a Republican in name only, a rhino, or watermelon, or what are you?
Well, apparently some people in the primary electorate thought I was a rhino, but I believe I'm a real Republican, a Republican that is both a economic issue conservative and a social issue conservative. Had a 93 American Conservative Union rating, 100% Christian Coalition, 100% National Right to Life, A with the NRA, 0 with the Americans for Democratic Action, 23 by some mistake with the AFL-CIO. So I don't know how I got that. I insist on a recount. I wanted a 0. He's a pretty conservative fellow, but some people would say that because I say we need to act on energy and climate, that must mean that I'm not conservative. But I think it's a misunderstanding of conservatism. Conservatism is about being aware of risk and saying, listen, let's act in a responsible way.
And you've talked about there's no such thing as a free lunch as far as energy.
Yeah, it's really sort of a guiding principle for me. Is and then this is what I'd say to my fellow conservatives. It's really one of the things we believe is there ain't no such thing as a free lunch, and that means in the case of energy, we're already paying the full cost of, say, coal-fired electricity. Increased asthma attacks, hospital admissions, those costs we pay. We just don't pay at the meter. We don't pay in our electricity bill, we pay at the hospital. When our insurance premiums go up, when cost shift causes those expenses for the uninsured to come onto our bills, when we pay through taxes for Medicare and Medicaid. So we're paying the full price of coal-fired electricity. It's just we're not paying it at the meter. If we paid at the meter, then I and other consumers would see the true cost, wouldn't be hidden from us, and we would move to innovate. I, for example, would then find it economic to put a solar hot water heater on my roof in South Carolina. I don't have one because, frankly, it doesn't make any sense economically at this point.
So should we be subsidizing energy?
Well, I think what we should do is we should eliminate all the subsidies for all the fuels and attach all the cost to all the fuels. Do those two things, then you transform energy, because what happens then is that free enterprise takes over and people start delivering products to compete with the incumbent fuels. The incumbent fuels largely are coal-fired electricity, which has all these negative effects that aren't added to the cost of it. In the case of petroleum, which is our transportation fuel, gasoline for our cars, a lot of costs there that aren't attached to the price of gasoline. And even though we think the price of gasoline is high, it's actually much higher than what we're paying at the pump. If we knew how high it was, some of us would be converting our cars to natural gas, for example. Trucks would be running on natural gas. We'd be buying Volts or Nissan Leafs. We'd be innovating, but we're not impelled to innovate because we don't feel the true cost. And so, as a conservative, as a social issue and an economic issue conservative, and I've got libertarian friends and national security conservative as well. All four of those flavors of conservative seem to me hold accountability as a key value. And we should make all the fuels accountable for all their cost. If we do that, free enterprise can deliver a solution.
So, what's up with the Republican Party? We've got presidential candidates who don't seem to be disposed to believe science that seems objective and empirical, and it used to be that Republicans were pretty much part of the mainstream on that.
Yeah. Well, I think that it's very important for conservatives for us to base our decisions on good science and to listen carefully to the scientific community. There's nothing conservative about being made aware of risk and then deciding to turn a blind eye to that risk and to proceed pell-mell without any caution. It's really contrary to both conservative philosophy plus conservative personality to do that. So we got to remind ourselves who we are. We're people who should be interested in the evidence, and we're people who should, by personality, be interested in avoiding risk. There's a reason we buckle up. There's a reason we buy insurance on our cars and our houses. There's a reason we save for the future. It's because we want to be responsible. And it seems to me that in the case of energy and climate, we should be approaching the same way. We want to be responsible. And sort of the opposite of that is the irresponsibility of saying, I'm just going to have conscious disregard of the science, and I'm going to proceed without any regard to the risk.